Good evening, everybody. How are we all doing? I hope we're doing absolutely wonderfully. It is just me tonight, as you'll notice by the slightly different starting screen. Mr. J Horse isn't here, unfortunately. He's decided, nah, I'm just not going to show up, which is a terrible shame. But nevertheless, I'm here to still talk you through tonight, and I'm just hoping it's going to be a half decent race. Only thing is, there ain't a lot of people. 11 drivers. That's it. I think this might be the worst turnout for a BRL ever, which isn't exactly ideal. Nevertheless, I think we can still, make it work. It's Canada. There should still be some good driving. We still got our title contenders. We got Lifeboat and Rick still in here. It's not like those guys have gone missing, so they are absolutely fine as well. So it's not a problem. Other than that, I'll go through the list. Lifeboat, I'm a Wild Matt, R. Henson, Mr. Cookie, Smithy, Bluebird, Rick, Essex Perry, Hazard, Jimmy Jags, and that Sim guy. So there isn't loads of drivers out there today. Hopefully it's still an okay race. I am really hoping it's an okay race, because I'm by myself, so it's not even like I can, sit and just talk with J Horse, because he's not here. J Horse just decided, nah, I ain't gonna show up, because why would I? Right, that is a really limited group of cars. Let's bring you over to have a little look at what I'm looking at here. Color wise, incredibly dull. We got orange, we got grey, we got grey. They're slightly darker. We got blue, we got blue, we got blue, we got blue. We got some green. That's about it. So the square root of not a lot to look at whatsoever. But it's fine. We move, we move. Where are we today? We are at Canada. Means I can just pop that one open, ready for us to go. That is a drive route going out. That is that Sim guy, owner, who's actually here for once, which is incredible. Heading out onto track, and he's going to be our first man out on track, which is quite a rarity actually. We don't usually see him out at all, and he's out by some margin as well. So going through the first sector here, very quiet out on track actually. It's almost a little bit eerie just having one driver going around. Oh, here we come. Here comes out another driver. There is the Alpine Bluebirds just exiting. So who are we looking for to put in some top quality shifts today? Well, Mr. Cookie has had a little bit of a resurgence. Here he comes out of the pit lane just as I'm speaking about him. He's had a little bit of a resurgence as of late, especially including that rather peculiarly placed blue and yellow helmet, which I think might have something to do with Fernando Alonso. You never know. I can't say I've noticed that helmet before. It might have been there the entire time. I'm pretty dull like that. Mr. Cookie is on a bit of a resurgence after picking up that really good result last week. So he'll be looking to improve, or not improve, but keep to pace. Our Henson as well, the man who somehow always manages to finish just behind the front runners, but picks up so many good points positions. He does well in the championship. That's our Henson. Bluebird as well, who we haven't seen much of him recently. So let's hope that he can turn it around, get a bit of improvements going. The big drivers include Rick here, the McLaren driver, obviously in a championship fight. And Lifeboat, who has not left yet, though. Is this him leaving? Yes, it is. There goes Lifeboat, ready to go onto his outlap and go set a time. Well, speaking of setting a time, here comes around that Sim guy through the second to last braking zone with beautiful little camera for the hairpin. I've got to say, that's a really nice camera angle, actually. We should be able to see quite a lot going through that hairpin on the very first lap. Very, very chaotic there, as it will be probably going into this corner, the World Champion chicane. Very, very tight wall on that right hand side, and he's going to run it all the way to the end. Let's see what our first time on the board is. It's a 1:10.2. Now, next man across, I believe, was Bluebird, all the way back here. Here he is, ready to get himself going. There's SX Perry just coming across the line. Sorry, no, I'm a wild man. SX Perry just going up to the final chicane. So just behind Bluebird. Let's see what he's got to offer, and then I'm pretty sure it's Mr. Cookie behind still. Yes, it is. Going to set fastest sector 2 as well, Mr. Cookie. So let's see how he gets on. There is Bluebird across the line. A 1:11.1. Mr. Cookie going to be the next man across. I want to change that to leader. After that, it looks like Hazard, or is that Lifeboat? Either way, they're both on outlaps, and Mr. Cookie, 10.8. Would have put in P2, but unfortunately, it's not valid. It's not valid. Well, let's watch on board with our Henson. He's got Rick just behind, so let's see how Rick gets on as well. Our Henson going to be the first of the two across the line. He's going to go P3, and Rick's going to go P2 with a really nice little time there. Next man across the line looks to be a Mercedes. It's Smithy, yes, but he has got that penalty. Next, that's him guy into the pit lane. He goes. It's then I'm a wild Matt next. Also picked up a penalty there, unfortunately for him. And then SX Perry just behind. Now, this track is quite notorious for being able to pick up a penalty here and there. But weirdly, it's usually through the final chicane where you pick up penalties, and people are picking them up beforehand, which isn't anywhere near as common as the Water Champions. SX Perry going there and setting a bank time. Is that Mr. Cookie coming around again? Yes. Invalidated again? Yes. So Mr. Cookie really not having a very good start to this qualifying session, as he does decide to lunge into the pit lane there. At the end of that, is that Lifeboat about to start, sorry, about to finish a lap? It is, but he has invalidated his time. And so as of right now, it was a 10.1, so it would have been fast enough to go pole. However, obviously he has abused track limits, so in theory, had he have lost a bit of time, you know, actually taking the correct racing line, I can't see that being pole. Yeah, I think that's pretty much on par with Rick instead of that sim guy. Obviously that's about a quarter of a second difference, which is pretty major. Quarter of a second is you don't really want to have a quarter of a second to the driver in front in qualifying. And there you go, Lifeboat invalidating there again. That chicane clearly proving to be a bit of a problem for some of the drivers, perhaps not what they would have been wanting at all. Here comes Bluebird with a whopping 0% ERS and a pit lane to enter, and I'm pretty sure all the drivers are going to just follow the same strategy here. Just a matter of get it out, set a time, get it in. The thumbnail, I know, the thumbnail is absolutely beautiful, isn't it, our Henson? Because problem is, right, is J-Horse does all the graphics for this league, and I'm pretty sure he does them for DRS or no, PRL. He does them for PRL as well. He might do them for DRS. I don't know. I don't really get involved in that. And yeah, I mean, there's a slight problem. Oh, we didn't have any. And I tried to message J-Horse like, where are you? And then I checked the check-in list, and I saw he wasn't coming. And I was like, no. It's never good. I really need my J-Horse here because it's lonely. If anything, I just need it for the thumbnail. Oh, there goes round Cookie. He's crumbled. He's bottled it. Got a little bit too flamboyant out of that final corner. Put the foot down a little bit too early. And that is exactly what happens when you do so. Spins round, obviously picks up that broken front right end plate as well. So he'll have to come into the pit lane because of that, which basically sort of just removes any shot of that lap. So he's going to have one lap to do it. A single lap. That is never what you want. I'm pretty sure this is that sim guy about to try and start a lap. It was that sim guy about to try and start a lap, but it's a little bit too fast out of the final corner, and it is now a very, very long lap of doing the square root and not a lot. Just protect those tyres. Keep as little wear on them as you physically can, and just try and go out for another lap. But you've really got to be careful through those Water Champions, because they're dangerous. They are properly dangerous. You can really pick up a penalty very easily there, and it's never good when you do. Right, what else we got? Who's out? A lot of people getting out on track now. Quite a lot of out laps. So SX Perry there going across the line. Invalidated lap though. Jimmy Jags also on a lap. Let's see how that goes as Wild Matt is just about to go and start a lap. Jimmy Jags has gone and set the fastest Sector 1, ladies and gentlemen. Are we on for a Jimmy Jags masterclass here? I really hope so. Let's take a little look around this lap by Jimmy. Is he going to be able to nail this chicane? It's not the fastest I've ever seen the chicane taken, but he's made it through without picking up an invalidation, which is better than most drivers as of right now. Does get it into the corner, a little bit wobbly on corner entry, but does get exit hooked up pretty nicely. The apex was pretty much bang in the middle. Decided to not go for that later apex. Often hairpins are a bit notorious for. Either way, let's see him into the final chicane now. Does get it done, doesn't pick up a penalty, runs it as wide as physically possible, and across the line it's going to be P6. Well, oh, that's Smithy the wrong way round. That's never good. Oh, that's just out of that corner as well. That's unfortunate for him. In comes SX Perry. So that is not going to be a lap for him. Oh, Smithy's really struggling to get going again. We'll continue to watch Wild Matt as he's about to come and finish a lap here. Well, into the second to last and final corner and across the line. Let's see what it is. It's a 1:11.1, which is going to put him P4. Just a tiny fraction from Bluebird. So he's got a bit of work to do, but at the same time, not too much. In comes that sim guy as well. He's not going for the next lap. Fair enough. Bluebird invalidates. So this lap is pretty meaningless. Is that going to continue into the next lap? No, it's not. He is going to be able to do the next lap. There's life out. That is Hazard about to come across the line. Invalidated. Invalidated for our Henson is this lap. This lap is clean to start. Same with life out. So we got our Henson, life out. Bluebird as gets a little bit leery out of that corner. Is he going to continue? I think so. You know, he's gonna continue to go. Right. Okay. Well, let's continue to watch Bluebird then. Furthest man along the track. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I've eaten a lot of food tonight. I'm kind of tired. I do apologise if I fall asleep. I probably won't. I don't think I can fall asleep in this chair, but you never know with me. Bluebird coming up to finish the lap. It's going to be 1:10.8 P3. He'll take that any day of the week. Lifeboat, I think, is the next to go. Oh, he's invalidated. Oh, Ensign? Invalidated. Oh, come on, boys. I want some action. Is that Mr. Cookie? That is Mr. Cookie. Mr. Cookie, ladies and gentlemen, is not invalidated. But he does go into the pits anyway. Sideways as well. Right, okay. Well, Bluebird is the only man out on track at the moment, so there's not an awful lot to watch, really. Oh, cool. Oh, as he does a donut. Interesting choice. I'd have said probably just trying to get back to the pits would have been, you know, the better idea. I just want to see what on earth happened there. I wasn't really paying enough attention, to be honest. Here he comes, down into the hairpin. Does he just get on the power too early, I think? Round. Oh, yeah, there he goes. Yeah, on the power too early. Right, SX. Here he is. Oh, very laggy. He's very struggling. Little darting around the place. He's the only man out on track at the moment, so he's going to be the early time setter. Currently 2 seconds off the pace, so he needs to close that up in this lap. Can he get that done? Find out after the break. No, we're going to go straight away. We are going to watch this lap in its entirety. After all, he's the only man out on track, as though that's either Hazard or Lifeboat just coming out. We'll see in a second. Notice how I said currently P8s in the most Canadian accent possible. It's not a Lifeboat, it's Lifeboat. See, I've learnt for Canada. Either way, it's Hazard that's out on track. SX Perry as of right now coming through sector 2. Down our DRS back straight. Oh, it's our smaller back straight. It's not our main back straight though. Through the chicane, nicely done. No invalidations. If anything, invalidating right now is sort of the biggest problem. Expect to see penalties. That's all I'm saying. Through the hairpin nicely. I can see absolutely nothing in this camera angle, but out he comes. And on to the back straight, well and truly. Jumping all over the place. Is he going to get the final chicane hooked up? After all, that is the most important section. And it's a 1:11.9, so it's down to 1.7. Let's just hope that other drivers out there are looking for slightly better times. As out starts to come another few drivers. That includes that sim guy, and I'm pretty sure not Mr. Cookie, it's Lifeboat. Yeah, it is Lifeboat. Hazard, though, is the man behind these, and he's going to be the next guy to go and set a time. As he's struggling through that corner by the looks of it on the wheel. He's really giving it a good move around, as he does come out of it successfully. Could have been a little bit quicker, could have used a bit more of the track, but it's still a good time. Yellow flag sector 2, that's just slow cars up ahead. They should all, in theory, move out of the way for Hazard, who is coming in at nothing short of an absolutely rapid speed here. Apexes nicely, gets on the power, nearly spins it, but it is pretty safe there. Now coming down the back straight, DRS wide open. Let's see what abouts he can do here. Next driver across, I'm pretty sure he's Mr. Cookie or Smithy. No. Nevertheless, Hazard, let's see what it is. Is it a 110? Is it a 111, 111, 112, 2, P7? Oh, that's a Jimmy Jags in the wall, ladies and gentlemen. That is a Jimmy Jags in the wall. Something we never like to see. Not quite sure what's occurred there, but he is back out on track, and he is going once again. And that is Mr. Cookie invalidated. This guy, honestly, does not know how to do a lap. Lifeboat, though, does know how to put a lap together, but he just hasn't done it so far here in Canada. He's still not successfully set a time. There goes Hazard, cutting the chicane nicely, just trying to give as much room as possible to Lifeboat. Now, I don't know what the rule is against giving your teammate a tow, but I think this is probably the most evident toe give ever. The fact that Hazard went over the chicane just so he's now giving the biggest toe ever to Lifeboat as he does come down the back straight. I really hope that's not illegal, because that's absolutely brilliant play there by Hazard. And great sportsmanship and teamwork to try and push Lifeboat for the pole position. It is. It's only just, though, ladies and gentlemen. Only just. That sim guy is going to go for another lap, and that lap is now. He hasn't gone and set that time yet. Who's next over the line? It's not on the wild mat. It's Smithy. Smithy comes across 1:14.8. Not a technical time. Henson out, so he's binned it somewhere. Next driver across the line, Jimmy Jags coming into the pit lane. Next man across is Wild Matt, who gets a little bit leery out of the final corner, and that is qualifying over, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody else can now set the time. Wild Matt goes ever so slightly faster, 0.005 per second, but it's not going to be anywhere near enough to finish a lap. Well, it's going to be Mr. Cookie next across the line, ladies and gentlemen. This will be his first time of today. So long as he can hook up the Wall of Champions, this will be his only opportunity to get a position. And oh, he dives into the pit lane. He is starting from the back, ladies and gentlemen. And now here comes Bluebird out of the final corner. The accelerator hard down to the floor. Let's see what sort of time he can produce. It is P4 for him, and Lifebout comes into the pit lane. But it's going to be that same guy who's next across the line, and this is one of the big heavy hitters. All he needs to do is ever so slightly improve on this lap, and he will take provisional pole. It'll then be up to Rick to seal the deal, whether he can take pole or whether it is that same guy. That same guy does go pole, and it's going to be a near half a second improvement than Rick is going to need to bring. Whether he can get pole or not, he's about to come across the line now. It's going to be a 1:10.1, which is not enough. So that sim guy on return comes home, brings it back, and immediately a very good pole position for him. It's just over a 10.5, comfortably up at the top. Congratulations to him. That is a very impressive time indeed, actually. I've got to rate it. I've got to give it to him, you know. I've got to give it to him. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That is qualifying over. Let's have a little look at where our standings will be today. That sim guy takes pole position in the dying moments, with Rick narrowly missing it, but does steal the place of the front row from Lifebout. Bluebird starts P4 with I'm a Wild Matt in P5. Our Henson, not the best to qualify, in P6. Essex Perry, P7. Hazard, P8. Jimmy Jags, P9. Smithy, P10. And Mr. Cookie, dead last in P11. Unfortunately for him, he didn't set a time at any point along with Smithy. Both of them were non-setters. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is qualifying for you done. They are hoping for rain, and I don't know what is going on. Right, just before I go and do a little track talk, I just thought you'd have to look at this. It is absolutely hammering it down, ladies and gentlemen. And welcome to Canada. It is 2.71 miles, 14 turns with 3 DRS zones. Really, really good overtaking opportunities here. Turn 1, obviously somewhere where you can go. You can finish that move off in turn 2 as well. Wall of Champions is a bit of a push to see whether you can try and go for a move, but it has been done before and it will be done again. Though, let's be honest here, turn 10, the hairpin, without a doubt, one of the strongest overtaking opportunities around this track. You can't tell me otherwise. Other than that, DRS at the moment looking pretty useless because it's absolutely hammering it down. 50% as per usual as well. And ladies and gentlemen, that is cut back to the racing action where we can see nothing short of rain. Lots of rain. It is full wet tyres. And oh, there goes round that sim guy on his start, and he's really struggling to get that thing going back once in the correct direction. Everybody on wet except for Mr. Cookie, who's on inters. I'm a Wild Matt's but tropical rainstorm, and you've got it. Oh, that is amazing. That is the best thing I've heard all day. That has really ripened my day up. Oh, it's an interesting call from... it's a very interesting call from Mr. Cookie. I'm not quite sure whether he's going to survive. Jimmy Jags, by the looks of it, has been demoted down to last place. Never good. As you can see, he's not really wanting to wiggle around all too much, because he'll spin if he does, because he hasn't got any grip. Let's be honest here, he has no grip. Right. Oh, there's Jimmy Jags in the wall, ladies and gentlemen. Clearly, Jimmy Jags also struggling with... any form of, what's the word? Grip, that is the word. as we can see some rather large puddles down. So obviously a fair amount of aquaplaning that they might have to worry about, though these tyres should be good enough to sort of disperse the majority of it, as here come the cars to park up on the formation lap. As we get ready to get going, I'm thoroughly looking forward to this. It should actually be a really good race, especially now with the very, very wet weather conditions. I can see us having a good race here, you know. Here we go. Here's the cars lining up. That is Jimmy Jags actually coming up to the end. That is just not the camera angle I'm looking for, you know. We just watched Jimmy Jags slowly join the back of the pack. There we go. Parked, and he's disqualified. Great. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we are away, and it's a pretty good start for that Sim guy, actually, who gets himself comfortably into the lead of the race, but it's not going to be as good for Rick, as Lifeboat is going to try and launch down the inside, but he's going to have to be defensive for that Sim guy, but he's going to comfortably take it as Rick goes flying off the track, and that's opened the door for the Alpine to try and launch it around the outside, as Rick has absolutely no grip whatsoever. So there goes the Alpine comfortably into P3. That is Bluebird there taking that position. Looking around in other positions, it's been a bit of a loss for Essex Perry. He's lost that position, but just looking ahead, they're going to try and go side by side here. The Williams of R. Henson wants past Rick, and he wants past early. He's going to get the better grip on the outside, but Rick is going to have obviously the inside line for the next corner. The Mercedes, I think, also wants a part of this and might get involved as well if one of these cars runs a bit wide. There goes Rick. He goes deep into the corner. That means he's quite slow out of the second half, and that's going to open the door for the Mercedes and the Williams to try and go for a move here. But Mercedes capitalizes hugely and is able to take both positions there. I'm a wild Matt into P4, but Rick is going to go back down the inside and is going to be able to push through the Alpha Tauri as well, but no, he doesn't get the best of exits, and the Mercedes does get a better exit, but not for the second half of the traction build, where Rick comfortably takes it and gains that position back as of right now. Rick is still going to comfortably take that lead, I'm pretty certain, and that is not going to change into our chicane. Well, what a start, ladies and gentlemen. That Sim guy is setting the first lap of the day for one of the best opening laps. Honestly, that was an amazing opening lap with some really, really good racing. That Sim guy comfortably breaking away now. It's a 0.9 second gap between him and Lifeboat, who is just behind. Obviously didn't set quite as good of a time, about 2/10 off that Sim guy in qualifying, which is not where he would have intended to be, and you can see that time already beginning to fall away a little bit, as the front three are pretty evenly spaced out. Approximately 1.5 between each, Bluebird and Rick. Lifeboat slightly closer to that Sim guy, however. It's the mid-pack here where we've got any sort of racing, really. Our Henson, our Wild Matt, and Rick are sort of our close contenders here, though Rick is comfortably securing this position as of right now. And then just these three fellas at the back here also very close. And there goes Smithy into the back of Jimmy Jags there. I think that might have been made a little bit of collision, but no, Jimmy Jags is a ghost. So there goes through the Mercedes. And Jimmy Jags goes back to being normal again. So I'm not quite sure what he was doing there, what occurred there to cause him to ghost. But he did ghost, and that has given Smithy the opportunity to get himself through. And he takes it with grace. And I can't say anything other than, why wouldn't you? Well, our Henson at the moment looking probably the most dangerous man to overtake, isn't he, in that Williams. Number 39 there with a lovely little Duracell helmet, ready to power the car for all of its needs. And yeah. Right. This is kind of what I was worried about, because wet weather often entails harder to overtake. Harder to... what's happened to Essex Perry? Oh, he hasn't spun. I think he's just really struggling out of corner exit. He is. Mr. Cookie is still going on these inters. He is determined to make them work. We're on lap 3 now, and he is still comfortably at the back. Really struggling. Really, really struggling. I kind of want to watch him, to be honest. Just want to watch him suffer. This very poor... Oh, there goes SX Perry. Very, very wide. And Mr. Cookie is going to capitalise on that. But look at the amount of grip that SX Perry has got in comparison to Cookie. And SX Perry doesn't have a front wing. Cookie, get on some wets. Oh, hey, what's happened here? I'm a Wild Matt has gone down the inside of the Wall of Champions and has managed to get the move. He is going to have to try and make it stick through turn 2, though. Ricky is going to be able to keep his front wheel in. This opens the door for our Henson to possibly catch up and probably get some grip down. Oh, that'll be what he's hoping for anyway, but it doesn't quite work in his favour. I'm a Wild Matt. Continues to hold that position now in P4, but our Henson, with a slightly better exit to Rick here, does close in a little bit, and Rick struggling through that corner. Oh, he had a little look there, didn't he? Decided against it, though. I didn't think that that was probably the best of moves. That would have been a bit of a lunge to pull off. So a smart move from our Henson there to not take that as an opportunity. I do rate it. I do rate when drivers, you know, actually think about stuff before they do, because that's usually a lot better. I know some drivers really do struggle with that. So Rick, noticing that he's had a really poor exit there, goes to the left-hand side very, very early, which is going to open the door for our Henson to go down the inside here, and he is going to get the better corner. Who's going to get the better exit? I think it's going to be Rick. You know, he is going to be Rick. He takes the place back there. So I think our Henson had that for a very, very split second, but yeah, that is quite comfortably Rick's place as of right now. Lifeboat, ladies and gentlemen, into the pit lane for a set of intermediate tyres. Now, could this be? Is this a sign of a drying track? Is it? Or has Lifeboat made an awful call? Is Mr. Cookie about to be an absolute speed demon? I'm not too sure. I'm really looking forward to watching this now. If this is... we're going to switch to some intermediates. That'll be a bit of fun. That Sim guy currently got a 3, nearly 4 second gap to Bluebird behind, who's got a 3.5 second gap to I'm a Wild Matt. So a very spread out podium as of right now. Rick not quite as far back, just a second and a half. Our Henson not as far back, just half a second. Our closest driving yet. But if that is a sign of the really heavy rain going away and throwing some intermediates on, well, I can only see a couple of drivers passing Mr. Cookie here. He's going to get himself immediately back into that fight, as I've just realised I've had the formation lap sign on the entire time. Why didn't you tell me? Lifeboat's managed to get himself past Jimmy Jags, so clearly those intermediates do have some functionality to them, which is always great to see. You always sort of tend to worry about, is that going to be the case? Are they not going to be fast enough? You never really know. Either way, I'll continue to watch our Henson here. It's 1.4 seconds now. That gap is really beginning to expand, and the only driver within a second is Jimmy Jags to Lifeboat. And I can't see that gap staying that way, but I can see Mr. Cookie coming through and taking this position from Jimmy Jags, because this track does seem to be getting a lot less, like a significantly lower amount of rain. There's not as many puddles out on track. Oh, there goes Cookie. Gets a little Larry on corner exit, but does keep it together for now. I feel like some drivers are going to head for some inters very soon. Oh, full course yellow. What has happened? Safety car, safety car. We have a safety car. That is SX Perry gone off in turn 2, which is going to cause a full course safety car. And I think it's nothing short of the perfect opportunity to go to intermediate tyres for drivers like that Sim guy who does come into the pits. Bluebird, who does come into the pits. I'm a Wild Matt, who does come into the pits along with Rick. Henson, they're all coming in. Hazard, Smithy in. Lifeboat takes it, correct. Jimmy Jags should come in, and so Mr. Cookie should go through as well. This could be really beneficial for Cookie. He's not going to get out in front of all of them, but he is going to jump quite a few people in this safety car. Only problem is the tyres aren't quite as fresh. So you might have to just pit a little bit earlier, but, you know, consider it an undercut. So there you go. Mr. Cookie's going to come out P4 after that fiasco. And since it's a safety car, I'm going to go and top my water up. And yeah, I will be back in with you guys in just a second. Alrighty, safety car in this lap. It is going to be that sim guy leading us out. He built up enough of a gap earlier on that he's managed to get himself on lovely, fresh intermediate tyres in comparison to Lifebouts, which are a couple laps old, which is never ideal. So this should be interesting to see how this starts. That is our entire grid, by the way. It's not a lot of cars, is it? It's quite a quiet one. You can hear the nice little cracking open. Lovely. Right. Now we just wait for Sim Guy to go. And it's now a question of when is he going to go? Is he going to go now? I think he's going to go now. And he has built up a decent-ish gap. Half a second. It's not too bad off of the start. Mr. Cookie looking pretty close as this track is now, a lot drier than it was before. The rain is still coming down though, so expect it to be intermediates for a little while to come. Until that rain, completely stops, then keep expecting the intermediate tyres to be the tyre of choice, though I can definitely see possibly going to softs or going to mediums by the end of this race. It might be hard, you never know. If it's sooner rather than later, it could be hard, but I definitely could see us going to mediums towards the end of the race. Look at big wins here. Well, there is only really one big win we can talk about, and it's a man that can't put his foot down at all. It's Mr. Cookie. He's up 6 places. Big losses. Rick, he's down 4. S.A. Perry down 4 as well, but that's because he's out of the race. Mr. Cookie, the only man who hasn't stopped yet. If he could get himself on a one-stop, going from intermediates to hards or something, that would be a quality. Thing is though, he's on 8 lap old intermediates. Everybody else is on 2 laps and 1 lap or 4. So it's a clear cut, not ideal position for him right now, as Lifebout is the fastest man out on track by some margin of, yeah, for half a tenth. So considerably, half a tenth, half a second, considerably faster than that sim guy as of right now, and does have the positioning to show it. He is right on the back of him. Let's see what you got. Rain still coming down. It sounds very strong, like on that front nose. You can really hear the rain. There is the Haas in the left-hand corner. It's all getting a little bit leery there with Lifebout, but he has got a great amount of pace with good slipstream. He's going to have to go to the outside, though. That sim guy's going to defend it nicely, but opens the door for the switchback. And the AlphaTauri is going to just have to lay down good traction if he wants to get this move done. But I think the Haas might slightly better him here. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I think we've got a drag race here. No, the Haas does sneak in front eventually. Took him a little while, though, didn't it? So that sim guy under a lot of pressure as of right now. Lifebout putting that pressure on him notably. And he's going to go again in turn 1. He's going to have the inside line for 2, and he has got the faster exit in a much better position on the exit. That is Lifebout into the lead, ladies and gentlemen. That's demoted to P2, though these two fighting 2.3 seconds ahead of everybody else. 3 seconds for Lifebout now, who is running away with this. Fastest Sector 1 out of anybody else, and is really opening that gap and showing an unbelievable amount of pace, up to a second already. Really fast. Oh wow, yeah, I'm not going to watch that anymore. That's going to get very boring very quickly. You can just tell, right. What else we got? We got these guys here. These guys are close. These guys are pretty close racing. Smithy and Jimmy Janks there passing. Oh, they're going toe to toe. Oh, he's coming out the final hairpin. Come on. Smithy does come back on the straight. Look at that for aerodynamic power. Does get through. Does get the move done once again. Smithy, P9. Comfortable as can be. Rick as well, right on the back of the Mercedes. The fastest Sector 3 last time round. It's not quite to be into turn 1, but Rick clearly showing good pace there with the fastest Sector 3, running a low downforce setup, I can only imagine. Would love to see how he's going to do for the rest of this race. Obviously only 0.4 of a second to the car in front. Armour Wild, Matt R. Henson just a second behind them. Hazard half a second behind them. Well, what else do we have? Well, Cookie is all alone. So is Bluebird. So is Sim Guy. Front runners is a snooze fest at the moment, to be honest. It is the midfield. Well, I say the midfield. It's the midfield and back markers all together. I'm going to say, yeah, it's like considerably small, this grid. And I do apologise for this occurring. I think we had like 15 people check in. We've only had 11 show. Which isn't good. That's not a good number. That is not a good percentage of showing up. So come on guys, do better. Rick really close through the wall of champions here. Lifebout 1:19.6. Fastest lap so far. Here goes Rick. His fastest Sector 3 again, and he's going to stay behind again. Rick, give us some entertainment, please. Go for the move. You're getting the fastest Sector 3 by like substantial amounts, and he's closing in. Sim Guy, 3-second buy-in penalty, multiple warnings. Not good indeed. That does actually push him back a position. Only one position to P3. Bluebird takes that. I don't actually know what Lifebout's penalties are. Let's have a little look. 3 as well. Okay, so 2-3 seconds. Lifebouts, irrelevant. Sim Guys, only just relevant. Bluebird only just takes that position as of right now. But we are lap 13 of 35. Please do keep that in mind. We have a long time to go. We have a very much a long time to go. Here you are, Henson a little bit closer this time, and so is Hazard. They all just dip below the second mark there, and I do think Rick once again going to close down, and yeah, there you go. It's gone from 9 to 4, down to 3, down to nearly 2 tenths. The straight line speed of that McLaren sim guy sets fastest time. Could he be on a bit of a pushback here? Rick closer still, 10th of a second, but it's just not enough. Oh, come on. I feel like we're watching the same thing again and again and again. Rick, nearly a second back, gets closer, all the way to turn 1, but then doesn't make the move. I'll be interested to see whether he goes for it, because the thing is, right, is Rick is faster down that long straight. That long straight is where you can make moves and out of this chicane. Get a good exit on this chicane, you've got the move at the hairpin, and I think that's what Rick wants. Rick wants the move at the hairpin and then use his aerodynamic bias to get him out of it and, you know, push him through. So he's not used like loads of overtake. Used a little bit equal to I'm a Wild Matt, really. If anything, he's really going for ERS this time. He's so close. Is he going to switch to the inside? No, he's not. Lifeboat sets fastest time, running away again. He hasn't got a whole lot of ERS to use here, but I think, ladies and gentlemen, we might actually have the overtake inbound. He's going to have to go to the outside. He's going to have inside turn 2. He does bring it up. All contact made. That pushes one car wide. Also, notably, the rain has stopped, I should mention, on all the water on the sides is gone. So we could be switching to dry tyres very, very soon, which would be really beneficial for Mr. Cookie, who is obviously beginning to get some age on those intermediate tyres. So the quicker this track dries, the better for him. Lifeboat not obviously too concerned at the moment. That sim guy, most drivers up at the front picking up penalties as of right now. Rick and Henson, the first 2 men to not have penalties, and Hazard, the only 3 to not have penalties. Of 11. Let's be honest here. Of 10, sorry. Let's be honest here. I mean, it was inevitable, wasn't it? Like, it's Canada. You should have seen, you know, if you've seen how much they were invalidating, of course they were going to pick up penalties, you know. Obviously, those laps you push that a little bit harder, but nevertheless, you're still going to struggle with that. And I do see sort of a dry line beginning to form here, you know. Yeah, you can see that drive line beginning to form. Then 18, the track is getting quicker. Mr. Cookie in the pits, he's gone early. Cookie is going ambitious this race. Like, he doesn't care. He's going ambitious, and I love it. I absolutely love it. The guy is holding nothing back, and we just love to see it. Oh, Rick getting leery out of that corner still. That corner seems to be a bit of a problem for a lot of drivers. They're really struggling out of that corner. Don't know why. It's just, you know, could it be just its sort of uphill nature a little bit? I'm not sure. But a lot of drivers seem to sort of be just not being able to attack it very well. It's far beyond me and my knowledge. Yeah, so through some of the corners, dry line definitely beginning to form. What tyres has he gone on to? Gone on to a set of hards. And he's skating all over the gap. Cookie, that was far too early. Mr. Cookie has just gone completely and utterly praying. Just praying it's going to work. I'm a Wild Matt there. Slots on a set of medium tyres rather than Mr. Cookie's hards. They're going to be slightly more worn out, but we are halfway through this race now, so I guess that makes sense. Also, notably, Rick has no longer got a man to fight. Let's go to our Henson, who's just behind. As this is still the closest battle. I don't actually know if, yeah, 29 seconds. Mr. Cookie's in the pit lane. Oh, it's a new front wing, and it's medium tyres. Oh, that's going to hurt Cookie badly. But he is sticking with that dry setup. I think at that point there is no turning back as he cripples one of the Alpine drivers. Sorry, mechanics. I think he might be dead. I have a sneaking suspicion he might be a little bit dead. There you go. Out goes Mr. Jimmy Jags. And this is the state of the race as of right now. It's very much in that middle zone of intermediates and slicks, whether which one's fastest, which one isn't. I'm going to still say that the track is not quite enough dry line to consider slicks as of right now, but it's only going to be a matter of minutes until that's any different. Really can't see it being that long whatsoever. You know, you're still going over these sections of the track which are still quite a light grey colour, but no, the rain has completely stopped. There's no rain on the car whatsoever. Just running on board with our Henson as of right now from Team Williams. Obviously with their very famous and interesting wheel design, which, yeah, I'm not quite sure why they go for it, but I like it. It's cool, it's interesting, it's different. You don't see any other wheel shaped like that. Every other wheel is shaped different, they're all the same. It's boring. I like having something different, and I also like it being in one place rather than moving around. I really like that. Like, for me, my brain, that just makes sense to me. So, as I'm talking about myself and my weird tendencies, Lifebout, Sim Guy and Bluebird all in. Rick to our Henson as well. Here we go. This is our slick tyre pit window. Well and truly in force, full force in. The entire top 7 in. I'm pretty sure everybody else, 8, 9, 10, are already on slicks. And ooh, Lifebout gets very orgy on exit there. That's Sim Guy, not so much, but still 3.4 seconds back, and then 3.2 back is Bluebird, and 7 seconds back is Rick. Here we go. Here's our close fight. I'm a Wild Matt and Hazard. We shall watch these with great interest as Jesus, that's a very good exit from the Mercedes, who's going to have the inside line here. Nearly gets the move done. The Alpha Tower, he's going to try and stay in it, but no, he's too far off the ground. There is Mr. Cookie with the fastest lap time of the day. Only minor problem is he is 25 seconds behind Smithy. Not the best positions to be in, let's say. Jimmy Jags were still 16 seconds behind Cookie. I'm worried that I'm going to sit here for the next 26 laps doing the square root of not a lot, because everyone's spaced out. No one's massively catching each other. No one's putting away. No one's closing up. Everybody's staying around the same kind of distance, between 2 and 24 seconds. Next driver. This is gonna hurt. Like, physically hurt to sit here. Great start to the race. This should be the last lap, in my opinion. Hazard, 3-second time penalty, multiple warnings. Mr. Cookie, 1:49, fastest lap. Good time. And Jimmy Jags retires from the session. Full course yellow. It's a safety car. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you, Jimmy. I love you, Jimmy. Oh, that is a horrible crash. He's run wide on the Water Champions. He's gone on the grass. He's lost friction. Jimmy in the wall. Full course safety car. like he's spoken from the gods that bow down to us. Because, oh my god, this race is interesting again. Mr. Cookie can close up on the pack. This is amazing. I wonder, will Mr. Cookie pit again? He's got another set of mediums to use. In my opinion, he's got nothing to lose going into the pit lane. Starting on a fresh pair of mediums. He's dead last anyway. And he does exactly as I was expecting him to. He comes into the pits because he's last anyway. Not going to lose any position. He's not going to lose any time. In fact, he's going to gain somehow 20 seconds. Coming into the pits. Make that make sense. And off he goes. I'm still watching the mechanics. There we go. Please do bear with me. Have a nice little listen to the Aston Martin as he catches up. By the looks of it, we're going around for another lap, so that gives Mr. Cookie plenty of time to catch. It's not really an awful lot to say, to be honest, other than I hope the next 13 or so laps are a little bit better than the last couple of ones. Because yeah, they were incredibly boring, and I was praying for the safety car, and Jimmy Jags had a word with God and said, "I'll do you a favour." Jimmy Jags is my hero. We all love Jimmy Jags. I think if the rest of this race is interesting, we have to give Driver of the Day to Jimmy Jags simply because he would have made the race not a snooze fest. I feel like that's fair. To the 3 concurrent viewers that have been here literally the entire time, thank Jimmy Jags. And if one of you is Jimmy Jags, I thank you. I'm sorry that you're no longer racing, but this should bring some interestingness. I'm really hoping it is. I really hope it does. Because we are about to get underway once again. Safety car in this lap, ladies and gentlemen. Safety car in this lap. Lifeboat leading us away. So not some guy this time, who is behind on obviously the medium tyre. Take a quick look at our tyres, shall we? 4 laps mainly across the board, and a 6 lap there, and a 1 lap there, and a 2 lap there, and who's where, what's where. Lifeboat gets away nicely. Sim guy catching up pretty early on in that, but comfortably remains in front. That is our entire pack there, ladies and gentlemen. That's everyone. Smithy, look at this go. Smithy gets a very good exit there and does retain P7 for now. Oh! Hazard really struggling through that corner, loses that place to Mr. Cookie. So Mr. Cookie up to P8 as of right now. Cookie's been all through the works. He started last. He's gone up to the top, up to P4, and he's all the way back down again. He's having a rough time. Let's hope that he can sort himself out and get himself back underway. And Jimmy, what happened? What went wrong? Poor soul. He's just got a smiling face. We love you, Jimmy. Right, Rick. Oh, Henson, close. Sim guy, speed. Jesus, that's fast through there. Oh my God, that's outrageously quick. He's just launched it through there. Whether he's got a bit of saved up ERS or something, but he's gone and set a comfortable fastest lap of the race so far. 1:12.5. That is outrageously quick. Nevertheless, there you go. That sim guy on top now. We love to see it. There he goes. Rick as well, just behind Bluebird, putting a fair amount of pressure on him. It's 4 tenths of a second as of right now. He's at the same sort of time as Mr. Cookie is behind Smithy, down in P8. Our Henson then just behind Rick by a couple of tenths more as well. Oh, this could get interesting. This could get feisty. I can see this midfield fight getting feisty. I mean, it's already been a couple of moves here and there, but Rick just kept gaining and gaining and gaining and wouldn't make an overtake. And I was a bit confused as to why, because he was getting so close every time. He just needs to make the lunge. Because he's so used to driving out in front, he don't like lunging anymore. Well, I can't see him going into the Wall of Champions. The Wall of Champions is such an awful idea, to be honest. I went on the grass and then spun on the inside turn. That's kind of what I guessed. I guessed it was going to be the grass that caused the problem. Rick went on the inside and then went behind again. He's like, yeah, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm like, fair enough, but, you know, go for the move once in a while, lad. I want to watch it. At the end of the day, right, I'm here for entertainment too. Mr. Cookie as well, right on the back of the Mercedes here. Oh, we had a little look, didn't he? He left it a little bit late to come over to the sides. Did manage to get it done, though, and keep himself going. Though it did look a little bit unlucky. DRS, of course, wide open. And Rick going to try and use that to his advantage, because obviously Bluebird doesn't have DRS. Because this man is too close to the man right at the very front. That sim guy isn't going to have DRS here, and I think that's going to be a very, very big hinder for him, because it's a long way to the Wall of Champions, and with a lot of DRS and not a lot. Oh, he hasn't gone for it. In fact, he stayed quite confidently behind. I mean, he was only 4 tenths back. DRS severely underpowered down that straight. Oh my God, Lifebout once more not being able to go for the move. Rick, though, is going to go for the move. Takes it down the inside. Sweet as can be. Bluebird has to cut the track, but he's going to let Rick through. And oh, he spins on corner exit. Bluebird. No. Oh, you poor soul. What? Oh, Bluebird, what's gone wrong? I mean, you've seen that. It's a calm re-entry to track, and then it just goes. He just spins. Poor soul. I'm going to watch it on the replay here. Comes up, stops nicely, and round. He'll be absolutely fuming with himself. I just know it. He'll be absolutely fuming. Here we go. In fact, for once, it's actually our closest drivers. Wow. I Oh, the AlphaTauri could go for it here. No, too far back. You've got to be really close into turn one. You've basically got to be side by side before you hit the braking zone. I think everybody's got it down to such a T turn one that you've just got to be on them. Like, it's basically sat on top of them if you want to try and make any move whatsoever. Everybody beginning to split back out again. That wasn't what I was hoping for. The last thing I was hoping for, to be honest. Not great. Luckily, these two still in DRS of each other, which is wonderful. Life battle as well, not like gaining or anything through that sort of sector 2, most sector 1 and whatnot. Isn't able to keep as close. That means by the time he gets to the DRS straight, he's half a second back, which means he gains time through there. Then he loses it through the Wall of Champions because it's just so much dirty air. And he's gained a 10th down that straight. That is it. Like, it's just not enough, you know. Here they go through. He's going to gain like another 10th again down that straight. I wonder how he's doing for ERS. 70%, 50%. ERS saving. Easy ERS saving. I thought only a 10th wasn't really enough. That makes more sense. Makes a lot more sense, to be honest. He's just sort of gaining as much ERS as possible. You know, you can stay in the slipstream. Absolutely fine. I'll stay in your slipstream. I'll use all of that free energy, essentially. Yeah, don't mind me. I'll sit back in the back of your car here and just store up my electrical power just to hammer you on the last lap. I bet you that's what he's planning. That's what he's trying to do, because he's not like pushing in the slightest. Neither driver's really pushing. I think if anything, that sim guy wouldn't mind being overtaken right now to do the exact same thing. There goes Smithy, gets himself around Bluebird comfortably as well. There's quite a lot of space between them. Yeah, Lifeboat really not going for a move whatsoever, and not making any use of the quite large amount of ERS that he possesses. Obviously using all the DRS to save up some. Speaking of Mr. Cookie, pick out him a penalty there. It's not been the best start for Cookie, has it? It's not been what he wanted. Yeah, Smithy around the outside. He's going to try a little switch back. No, too far back. Mr. Cookie hasn't had like the restart that he wanted, has he? He's still P8. After some interesting tactical movements and it not going quite to plan, and then going a bit to plan, and then not going quite, and then back in the mud again. And I mean, at this point, it's not a crumbled cookie. It's just a very damp, sticky, not an optimal cookie. It's not an optimal cookie for an optimal day. Let's see, look, Lifeboat considerably closer down this back straight this time. Let me guess. Oh my god, he's not actually used that much ERS either. But I really don't think he's using full power. He's sticking on full power. He's just really struggling to get past. Notably, that sim guy is using a little bit more ERS. I will say that. I'll agree with that. That ERS is declining a little bit more, and I do think he's in a bit of trouble here. 5 laps to go, including this lap. This could be a really nice little end. There goes Cookie on Smithy, as I think he actually cut a corner there a little bit. Well, one of them did. I definitely saw one of them cut a corner, but I don't think I really was looking at it fast enough. But I think about what was going on there. They've still got a way to go. So what I have, right, is I have on YouTube this sort of replay field. Essentially, it's a replay. It's actually what gets sent out, sort of just for me to check. Oh, it was Cookie that went across the grass. I wonder if we give that place back. Or I wonder if it's because Smithy's done something. I don't know what's occurred there to cause that. But yeah, Cookie did go across the grass. Who knows? Lifeboat once again quite far back that time round. 7/10. at the end of the first turn. I mean, if that sim guy, you know, wants to close, and then it's down to 3/10 like that, they're just so and ahhing with each other. Those two, they're just not like. There's not one that's like obviously faster than the other. They are so like quick in their own respects and so quick in different sections of the track. Obviously, the Haas much faster in a straight line. I can guarantee your Lifeboat's going to go for that move on the final straight, final lap, because any other time, sim guy's just going to come right back at him. He might pre-trial the move, maybe this lap or next lap, just to make sure. Obviously, then the Haas is going to come back at him. But obviously, he'll worry that maybe the Haas will, you know, get the idea and he'll remain behind until the very last lap as well, and then he's done for. I think it's just going to have to be something he's going to go for, though that is considerably closer than it has been for a long, long time. There's the AlphaTauri right behind, but no, still no move made. There's Bluebird and Cookie going side by side into the Wall of Champions, and oh, that could have ended in catastrophe. Smithy picks up a, but oh, and it has. That's Cookie. No, I don't know whether there was contact or not, so I'm not going to say there was contact if I don't know there was contact. 3 drivers have gone into the Wall of Champions, and only 2 have come out. What's happened to Sim Guy? Sim Guy spun it. Sim Guy has lost traction on lap 33 or 35, and he's lost 2 places because of it. Oh my God. Oh my God. Could you write that? You couldn't write it. And now he's going slowly. What's going on? Why is he going so slow? He's going to let Wild Matt through at this stage. He's got a front wing, hasn't he? You got both sides of a front wing. He's going to go side by side with Wild Matt here, and he is going to get that move in place, just about. Notably, Lifeboat has penalties, doesn't he? What kind of 9 seconds! Jesus Christ! Oh, Henson could take him here. If Henson bucks his ideas up and gets some pace down, he might do this, you know. Oh, Henson, ladies and gentlemen, could take P2. Now, I realised Lifeboat had penalties. I didn't realise Lifeboat had that. Sim Guy's DNF'd. What? What happens? At 34. He's binned it. Oh, we're not going to be able to view it either. It's going to go. Well, gentlemen, ladies, what a chaotic afternoon it's been. Well, we thought Sim Guy might have it, especially if it was 9 seconds. Sim Guy had it, and now he's DNF. Don't get it. How? How on earth has that? It's no. I 100% did that for just a second. Thank you, Jimmy. Thank you. Just no. Just no. Lots of no's. I see. I'm on board with Lifeboat, and he's texting right now. Lord knows how he's doing it. He is going to be the first man across the line. I don't think it's all that much important. That is Hazard. What the hell happened to Hazard? Nevertheless, Lifeboat's going to be the first man across the line. But it's the McLaren. Of a 6-man finish. Rick wins in Canada. And our Henson is going to come across the line here. And he's going to finish P3. I'm a wild Matt. P4. Bluebird, though, is not going to finish P5. In fact, I'm pretty sure he's going to finish. Oh, no, he will finish P5. Smithy, 17 seconds. Yeah, I've got that confused. Both of which missing a front wing. Smithy does cross the line in the very last moment. Oh, we come to stop. Oh, God, ladies and gentlemen, what an interesting end to the race. That was so weird. I can't quite understand what on earth has just happened. Congratulations to the McLaren. Very impressive drive. Congratulations to all the podium. Right, well, back in a very wet Canada, it is Rick winning for McLaren there, 112.9, best lap time. Lifebout P2 for the AlphaTauri, so two championship competitors there, 1 and 2 are Henson P3, Williams, Wild Matt P4, Bluebird P5, Smithy P6, Hazard P7, Simguy P8, Cookie P9, P10 to Jimmy Jags, and P11 to SX Perry. I feel like just interviewing I think even more so, just interviewing people separately for this race feels wrong. I feel like we have to just like talk as a group, because that was the single weirdest race I've been a part of for a long time. And I feel like our normal interviewing strategy just isn't going to do it justice, you know? But yeah, what a strange finish to this race. And it's probably one of the most... Oh my God, it's Rick's first win. Oh, Rick! I've forgotten about that as well. Rick, ladies and gentlemen, is winning the championship and he hadn't won yet. He's just gone and picked up his first win in one of the most chaotic and strange and peculiar races I have ever been a part of and that I have ever seen. I forgot about that. Jesus. The thing is, right, is Rick is driven so spectacularly this year that he kind of like, you forget the fact that he's never won a race, because he just so comfortably strolls around and, you know, basically just comfortably races properly. You don't realise. Yeah, it's kind of creepy. That's wrong. So we'll just go with the standard opening. You can sit and watch that. Well, Jesus Christ. Right, commentary. Load. Oh, come on, Discord. Let that ponder and load. Yeah, my beautiful clicking. I love my keyboard that clicks. Right. come back in just a sec once we've got our. Alrighty, so we have our third place finisher with us, our Henson. How are you doing?
Hello, I shouldn't have got third. Sim guy completely bottled it.
Yeah, I mean it was. I was extremely confused as to what happens there, but let's start with your race. It was very much a midfield fight for the majority of it, wasn't it?
Yeah. The rain, I was faster than Rick, but I just couldn't get him because he had much better traction for
Hmm.
most of the exits. Then after the safety cars, I just fell off of everyone ahead of me, but pulled away from the people behind me. So I just had nothing happening all race basically.
Yeah. It was a quiet one for you, wasn't it? Especially at the end of the race, you were about I don't know about 10 seconds from Rick and about what 6, 7 to the car behind. In those kind of situations, does it does it become like more challenging to drive because you haven't actually got anybody to compare yourself to?
No, I was just trying to really keep it on the track and not get another warning because then I've got 3 seconds.
Hmm. So damage
That was
limitation.
it, really.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
it's it's not a whole lot to say. Obviously, with quite a lack of people as well joining us today, only 11 drivers at the very start of the grid. It wasn't going to be an awful lot, was it? And qualifying was just standard, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, except Jimmy decided to weave into me on my last lap and
Oh, lovely.
crashed me out.
Oh, quality. That's just what
He
you
was
want.
parked on the line, on the racing line, so I was going to overtake him. When I pulled to the right to get past him, he also went right. So I just hit him.
Oh, well, it's Jimmy Jags for you. Well, I mean, other than that, do you want to do your 3 word race roundup?
Boring, boring, and penalties.
Well, yeah. Other than that, podium nevertheless, decent points, and
Yeah. It's always us three on the
I
podium
know it's
these days.
always you three. I'm getting bored of it. I can't lie. I need some variety. I might try and get Sim Guy in here to explain what on earth happened. But yeah, other than that, congratulations on the podium, and we'll be seeing you next week.
Thank you.
Alrighty, P2 life bout. It's a stroke of luck that you managed to get P2 with 9 seconds of penalties, wasn't it?
Yeah, some guy, I don't know what he's doing. He got like, I that was such, that was such an easy win for him. I don't know how he bottled that.
Well, so right from the very start, qualifying, it was P2. Obviously, Sim Guy took it off you right in the very nick of time, and you two kind of stayed in and around each other. You had some times where um, I think Sim Guy was a bit quicker for the start. He built up a bit of a gap, but as it dried up, you caught up again. Were you feeling a bit stronger in the dry conditions?
Well, I I put on 10 extra click of wing to prepare for the wet because I thought the whole race would be wet, but that wasn't the case. But I thought I tried to get a really good start to get ahead of Simga and Rick because I knew I had higher wings. But I got ahead of Rick, but then Simga just was flying. I don't know how he was so fast on the full wets.
Mm.
And then I think yeah, I boxed a lap or 1 or 2 laps before safety car for inters, and then the safety car came out, which ruined my strategy. I think I was gonna get ahead of some guy because my Delta was telling me I was going faster, but then the safety car came out. That luckily I came up P2, but still not ideal. And then on the second safety car restart, some guy just got past me so easily because he was so much faster on the straight, and then I couldn't get past some guy, so I just had to stay in his DRS basically until he bottled it.
Hmm. After that, obviously, damage limitation for you. Were you obviously with those 9 seconds time penalties? Obviously, then sim guy being taken out of it. I'm guessing you were watching the deltas rather closely in hopes to get in that P2. Obviously, with the championship in mind, a P2 a lot better than P3 for you. I mean, other than that, is there sort of anything else you'd like to mention? Because it wasn't a whole lot to do.
I think if some guy didn't bottle it, Rick would only gain 2 points, but now he gained 3. So I really wanted some guy to win, but yeah.
Hmm. Well, other than that, would you like to do your 3-word race roundup?
A lot of penalties.
A lot of penalties. Yeah, it really was. Congratulations on the podium, nevertheless, and we'll be seeing you
Thank
next
you.
week.
See you next week.
Right, our race winner, who I can almost guarantee you about 100 quid that he weren't thinking that he was going to be here today. Rick, you've won.
Finally,
Took long enough.
finally, yeah. Took about the entire season, but it comes right at the end and right at a crucial time for me.
Yeah, well.
Obviously, one point difference in the championship.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, now 4, but this really helps me.
Well, let's talk about it right from the very start. Qualifying was okay. And the wet weather racing wasn't exactly ideal for you. Were you, I'm guessing, pretty damn happy when it got dry?
Um, well, I qualified P2, so that wasn't that bad yet. But
Hmm.
then just messed up turn 1, tried to go for a gap, but just broke too late, and Sim guy just stayed in the lead.
Hmm.
Yeah, the wet was just not good in the wet this game. I was all right last game, but this game is awful for me. Need to work on it. Yeah, the just no pace. A lot of traction loss, wheel spin. Just not fun all round.
You turned it around though, didn't you? It wasn't all that bad. Obviously the dry weather racing. I just want to know what was the reaction like when you just saw a sim guy almost parked up on the side. You were just able to cruise past him.
I I was. It was close for sure. The gap just went from 3 to like 2.6, back to 3, just over 3. Just went all around.
Hmm.
So I think when he spun, I think it was within like 2 seconds. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was basically secured if I didn't make mistakes. But yeah, it came as a surprise. Still, I wanted Simguide just to be there. Wanted Simguide to win as well, so
Hmm.
they would finish ahead of Lifebound.
Yeah.
And yeah, just need to yeah, the wet was not good, but but I had more of a dry setup, which and I was better in the dry, and then obviously I lost words. um, well, like I knew Lifebound had a lot of wings on. I didn't know how
Hmm.
much. So yeah, but it turned out to be quite a lot. So I knew I knew it was definitely going to be faster in the wet. In the dry, sorry.
Yeah. Well, now that you are an official BRL winner, can we start to see some more results like this?
What are the next tracks? Let's
Well, we
see.
got Abu Dhabi next. I know that.
Abu Dhabi. Going off DRS, one of our other leagues. I definitely had the pace over Lifeboat for the majority of the race, and then Kota, he's just gonna if he practices, he's just gonna run away with it. And Brazil should be pretty close. I
Hmm.
think if I need to do more practice there.
Well, other than that, would you like your race-winning 3 words race roundup?
No penalty master.
No penalty master. It was an
Because
important to keep that clean
yeah,
all
I've
throughout the
got
race.
I've won this track. Won this track for the second time on penalties.
That is goes to show no penalties is probably one of the most important things, especially on a track like
Yep.
this, where they're just so easy to pick up. So, on that note, congratulations,
Thank you.
and we'll be seeing you next week for Abu Dhabi.
For sure.
Alrighty, now usually we'd be done and dusted, but there is one driver I'd quite like to talk to who, how can I put this nicely, hasn't had the best of endings to the race. Sim guy, what happened?
Don't really want to go into it, to be honest. Um, what happened? I ran out of talent. That's what happened. Yeah. So the race for me was pretty good. I held Lifeboat off for quite a bit on the start. Rick didn't get a good start. Well, he did, and then he dropped a few places on the first 2 corners.
Mm-hmm.
So I had Lifeboat behind me, and I knew that he would be a bit quicker in the wet because he had a full wet setup, whereas I didn't. I had a full dry setup.
Yeah.
Apart from increasing the front wing for the wet.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, we had the first safety car come out. I was in first at that point. I got a fairly decent restart. Kept Lifeboat behind for a bit, but when it went from wets to inters, that's when his wet setup just was a bit superior compared to my dry. I was still catching him ever so slightly on the straights, quite a bit actually. I was keeping within 2 seconds, but then when it started drying properly, that's when his wet setup just because a lot more downforce, so he was able to stick it to the track a bit more. Excuse me, and then yeah, then the we pitted for slicks. And we pitted for slicks, but that was that during the safety car? I don't think it was it? No, it wasn't.
No.
Pitted for slicks, and then I knew that I had my dry setup, so I knew that I was quicker than Lifeboat, and I was catching him slowly after the warm up phase of the tires. But then the safety car came out, which meant that I had a great opportunity to overtake Lifeboat on the restart. Used a lot of my ERS just to keep up with him in the corner, out of the corners, because obviously with a wet setup he's got higher downforce, so his traction was a lot better. But then yeah, overtook him very very easily. I think even before DRS. Oh no, that was it. He had a moment coming out of the hairpin, and he very very nearly lost it. And that gave me the opportunity to get right on the back of him, alongside him, and then without DRS, I still got the move done into the chicane, and then yeah, was in the lead from then. I did increase my tire pressures for the wet.
Yeah.
That was a mistake because my mediums they went off a lot quicker. Yeah, they got worn a lot quicker. So the last 5 laps, I was skating around on traction. I was really struggling, and I knew that Rick was right there, and he was we were playing with the 3 second because I had a 3 second penalty.
Yeah.
And then yeah, we were playing around with 3 seconds, 2.5 seconds, and then it went back up to 3.7 at one point, and then yeah, I just lost it on acceleration. I just had no rear tires, and damaged my rear wing. Tried to continue, and with a damaged rear wing, it was just I was getting the rear end was coming around around while it's under braking, so I just had no control on the rear, and then spun and damaged it even more, so it was orange. So I tried to brake into the next braking point, and yeah, it just spun me around, and then I hit the wall. But absolutely gutted after that, after not racing for a while and not having the best of pace because I haven't done much practice because of work and whatnot. Um, and yeah, I would have absolutely loved that win, and I knew it would have spiced the championship up a little bit more as well. But wasn't to be today. Hopefully I can do something. Canada's probably my strongest track. Um, I absolutely love Canada, but it just wasn't kind to me today.
Well, it is still not too bad considering the fact that you've done what, about 3 of the races this season, 3, 4.
Probably something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's been a decent little comeback for you. Obviously, 2 back-to-back races. Can we see you participating in the last couple of races?
Honestly, it's very hit and miss with me with the nature of my job. I'm uh in different parts of the country all day every day. So it literally depends where I am and what time I'm getting home. Yeah, so I can't say until the same day as race day, unfortunately.
Hmm.
Um, which which sucks because I really wanted to race this season, and I felt strong this season at the start anyway, because I remember I think I won the first race or the first 2 races, or I can't or I was on pole at least, or
Hmm.
so I felt really good at the start of the season, but just wasn't meant to be. I thought this would have been my first BRL championship, being the owner as well,
Yeah.
but wasn't meant to be
Yeah.
this season.
Well, nevertheless, it was a good race if the race was 33 laps long. We'll put it at that.
Yeah, I'm sure you were. Yeah, it was for me. Yeah, um, it was nerve-wracking because I know that Rick and Lifeboat are quick drivers, so they were right on me. But I know that I can what's the saying? I can keep them honest. Especially around Canada, because it's definitely my strongest track. Well, I put it on pole, so that the proof is in the pudding.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, really enjoy the track. But it just seems this season, this year, even this F1 22 is just shocking. This year, I think there's so many problems with it. They really need to get it sorted for 23. Let's hope EA can work some magic. Probably not, but
Yeah, this is EA we're on about. This is
yeah,
dying hopes.
absolutely.
Well,
Um, but yeah, enjoyable race nonetheless.
would you like to do your 3-word race roundup?
Um, 3 words. Oh, I am stupid,
I'm stupid. Yeah,
as Sh- as Charles Leclerc says.
yeah. Even more so, we've got a Ferrari as our screen, but it's not Charles. It's Sebastian. Close enough.
Close enough. Close enough. Still red.
It's still red. Yeah, it's fine. Anyway, commiserations on the last couple of laps, but congratulations for the rest of it. And it's
Thank you.
nice to have you back. Um,
Yeah, it's nice to be back. Nice to be racing again. 2 weeks in a row, like you said earlier, and let's hope I can keep it going.
yeah. Well, let's hope to see you next week. If not, oh well. And let's hope that J Horse is back next week as well. This is
Yeah,
outrageous.
yeah, absolutely. You need your commentary teammate to keep it interesting for you.
Yeah, yeah. There was some sections. The fact that Jimmy managed to bin it into the wall was
You can always rely on
horrible.
Jimmy.
It was
Always rely on Jimmy
horrible,
to make it
honestly.
interesting.
Had he not have done that, it would have been
Yeah,
the dullest race for like 15 laps.
yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, well done, Claudia. See you all next week, hopefully. Alrighty, so I think that just about rounds it out for today. Thank you all very much for watching. I've been the Castteristics. He should have been J-Horse, but he wasn't here, was he? And I will see you all next week.